it going, everybody? This is Darrin with GuitarControl.com bringing you this video lesson, and today I've got 3 more fun and easy riffs for you from the 1970s. Right now Guitar Control is giving away this cool free chord chart. It's a link down in the description. It's in PDF format and has every chord that you could ever need all neatly compiled into one sheet. So you can print it off, you can put it where you practice, throw it in your gig bag, so just at a glance you can have any chord that you could be looking for in whatever situation. And it's free download, just click the link. So be sure to click on the link in the description for the tabs, and let's get close up and take a look at these. Alright, so the first one we're going to look at is 25 or 624 by Chicago. So this one is pretty simple, and it's just made up of octaves. So, and it's just the same shape all the way through. So where I'm at right now, I'm on the 5th fret of the low E string with my first finger, and the 7th fret of the D string with my third finger. But you want your first finger to kind of droop over so it mutes the A string. So that way when I strum, I'm just getting those two notes, they're both A's, just an octave apart from each other, and then that mute in between. So it kind of just fattens it up a little bit. So this is just made up of 8th notes. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So we rest on the and of 3 and all of beat 4, and that's the first measure. So when we hit that last strum on the downbeat of 3, we slide out of it. So. Then we simply move down a whole step, so now we're with G. Do the same thing. So first finger's on the 3rd fret of the low E string, and third finger is on the 5th fret of the D string. Now we go down a half step from there. So now I'm on the 2nd fret of the low E and the 4th fret of the D string. And so this is F sharp. Alright, so that's our first 3 measures. Alright, so for that last measure, we're going to come down a half step again, so we're doing F. So I'm on the 1st fret of the low E and the 3rd fret of the D string. And we're going to do this for half of the measure. So 1 and 2 and then starting on the downbeat of 3, we go to an E. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our first finger off and drop our 2nd finger to the 2nd fret of the D string. But you kind of want to use the tip of your finger to kind of touch the side of the A string to mute it. So again, we get the same note. So. And then it just starts over again. Alright, so the next one we're going to look at is Listen to the Music by the Doobie Brothers. So this is a really fun little riff to play. It sounds really cool, and it's a great rhythmic exercise. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to come here to the 9th fret with your first finger, and we're going to pick the 9th fret on the A string, and we're going to pick that and then do a hammer onto the 11th fret with our 3rd finger. Just like that. Then we're going to follow that with our first chord, which is E over B. So all I'm going to do is take that first finger and just bar across the 9th fret of the D, G, and B strings. Then we have 2 muted strums. So I'm just basically just letting off the pressure here. So I'm just touching the strings. And then when I strum them, I just get that percussive sound. So if you look at on there, this is a 16th note, and this is an 8th note, and then this is a 16th note, so it's like. Then these 2 are 16th notes, 2 mutes, and then the full chord is an 8th note. Then 4 16th notes, mute, 2 full chords. That's our first measure. Second measure starts off the same way with that same 9 hammer to 11. This time we start with a mute, and then 4/16 notes. And on the fourth one, we're going to do a hammer on and make this an A over C sharp. So what we're going to do, and this is going to be kind of the trickier part if you're a beginner, is that we're going to hammer 2 strings at the same time. So you're going to keep your first finger barred here at the 9th fret, but you're going to hammer down to the 10th fret on the B string with your second finger at the same time that you're hammering to the 11th fret of the D string with your third finger. So you get this other chord voicing. So we hammer, we do the starting at the beginning of the second measure. So we have the hammer, mute, 1, 2, 3, 4, because it's 4/16 notes, hammer to the A over C sharp. And then you've got 4/16 notes. And then a 5th one, pull off, followed by 2 mutes, and then the whole thing just repeats. So when you're playing it really slow, it's really kind of hard to imagine how it's supposed to sound. But once you start speeding it up just a little bit. Alright, and then the last one we're going to look at is Sign of the Gypsy Queen by April Wine. So this intro part of the song has 3 guitar things that are happening. But so you've got a rhythm, and then you've got a melody, and then a harmony to that melody. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over the rhythm part, and we're going to go over the melody part. We're not going to do the harmony part, because this way you can play it like with your looper, like you could loop the rhythm section and play the melody over it, or record it with your phone, or just whatever, play it with a friend. Alright, so we start off, we rest on the first 2 beats, and then starting on beat 3 we have this little run. So we're starting on the 3rd fret of the A string, and I'm using my second finger. 3, then on the end of 3 we go to the 2nd fret with your first finger. The downbeat of 4 is the open A string, and the end of 4 is the 3rd fret of the low E string. And then that brings us right to the downbeat of the 2nd measure. So we have an E5. So I'm just going to take my first finger and just bar the 2nd fret of the A and the D string and play the low E string open. And this is a whole note, so this gets 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then on the next measure, we're going to go to a D5. So you just take your first finger, move it up to the 5th fret on the A string, 3rd finger picks up the 7th fret of the D string, and you can also pick up the 7th fret of the G string with your 4th finger, but if that's difficult for you, if you're a beginner, that's okay. Again, be a full measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next measure, we're going to come down and do an A5. So first finger is barring the 2nd fret of the D and the G string. The A string is open. This is also whole note. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we go to a C5. So if we take the D5 shape we did and just move it down a whole step. So now your first finger's on the 3rd fret of the A string and your 3rd finger's on the 5th fret of the D string. And we hit this, and it's a half note this time. 1, 2, and then starting on beat 3 we do the same little run we did at the beginning. 3 and 4 and then it just repeats. Alright, so that's for the guitar 1 for the rhythm part. Now we're going to look at what guitar 2 is doing for the little melody over it. So guitar 2 rests the entire first measure, and then on the second measure, where on the downbeat of 1 the rhythm is doing that E5 is a whole note, we beat 1, and then on beat 2 we're going to go to the 15th fret on the B string. So all these notes we're going to be doing here are all just out of the E minor pentatonic scale, out of pattern 1. So we go to the 15th fret, I'm going to use my third finger, and I'm going to put my second finger on the 14th fret, also on the B string, and then my first finger on the 12th fret, so that way I have this leverage to bend. So we're going to do this as a half note, so 1, 2, 3, and then we release the bend, and on the downbeat of 4 we hit the 15th fret, and the end of 4 the 12th fret. So that's another good reason to have your first finger back here. Then on the second measure, well, it's actually the third measure, but the second measure of the repeat, we bend this up at the 15th fret a whole step again. This time it's just a quarter note though. 1, we release it, 2, 3, 4, because it's a dotted half note. So those two measures. Then on the fourth measure, but the third measure of the repeat, it's the same as the first measure again. And then on the last measure, we do 15 pull to 12 on the B string, but at 16th notes, to the 14th fret of the G string, to the 12th fret of the G string. So it just descends the scale basically. So when you go to the 12, a little vibrato on it, then to the 14th fret, and then it would just repeat. Now, if you're just playing it just by yourself, one thing you could do is you could do the little run and then just hit your open low E string for beat 1 and then start playing the little melody. So you can see that just can kind of help you to keep where you are, your place in the song, and then also add some of the other notes that are missing to kind of just keep the whole thing together. But I would just record the rhythm part and play that little melody over the top of it. All right, so there you have it, 3 fun, not too terribly difficult riffs to play from the 1970s. So if you like this lesson, be sure to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment down below if you have any questions about this or other guitar-related topics. If you've not already done so, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the content that we upload throughout the week. Well, that is all I have for you today. Thanks for watching and have a great day.